Hey everyone, welcome to a full garden tour. The first full garden tour really of the growing season of 2019. I did one back in March, but things were kind of bleak at that point, except for the two veggie beds over here. This is going to be a little bit different of a tour than all of my past tours. In the past, when I do garden tours, I try to get through them as quickly as possible because I don't want you guys getting bored. The thing is, when I watch garden tours for other YouTubers' gardens, they take their time. They explain things, they walk around, and I actually enjoy that. And so, and plus, when I would do my garden tours, I would get all kinds of questions in the comments about what was that? You know, what was this? How did you do? All kinds of questions that should have been answered during the tour. So I'm going to take my time, and if you guys want to fast forward, that's totally up to you. But I'm going to take my time, and for those of you who want a little more in depth and to know exactly what I'm growing where, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to do some garden tours a little more often throughout the summer because I like when other people do that and I can see kind of how things are growing. But anyway, I chose today as a day to do it because it's been a beautiful day here in Southern California. Noah has a project for school where you have to go check out a college and take pictures of the building with the major you want. Well, he's in 5th grade. I don't know about you. When I was in 5th grade, I wanted to be a magician. So I don't know how a 5th grader is going to pick their major, but we drove down to Malibu along the coast the whole way. It's gorgeous. And we went to Pepperdine University. My entire family went to Pepperdine University. I was the only one that didn't because they didn't have art as a major, so I was out of luck there. So anyway, that's where Noah picked to go on his tour. Hopefully we get a lot of financial aid if he wants to go to Pepperdine. But anyway, we got home, beautiful evening, and I thought, we toured a college, why not tour the garden? So I'm going to start with the tropicals, and we'll end up with the vegetables. Let's go. All right, so we're going to start in the bed that we always start out with, and that's pretty much the only sun bed that I have. There's a little one over there, but this is the main sun bed, and it doesn't get that much sun. What's cool is you can see from, if you compare this to the tour I did in March, the cannas have probably grown, what, 3 or 4 feet? They were barely out of the ground. By the end of the summer, this fence will be covered. Now I have a new plant right here, a new tree actually. It's a Brugmansia. The variety is Painted Lady. It's a pink one. I have a yellow one over by the pond and over by the chicken coop. I've got an Abyssinian banana in the back, so that should fill in that area. I've got a tea plant, cordyline. Some more cannas. Don't know the variety of this. This is white ginger. Love white ginger. Smells so nice in September, October when it blooms. I have the last of the Cymbidium orchids that are still kind of hanging on. They don't look that great, but that's okay. Down here I've got some polka dot plant, which is one of my favorites because it really fills in and it comes back every year. I don't know if you can see how much these palm trees have grown. These have been here, what, 3 years now? And every year I love looking at the garden tour because they grow so fast. Now, not fast enough for what I want. I actually planted these two specifically in this spot because one of my favorite things to do in Hawaii is to lay in a hammock stretched between 2 palm trees. So I got the measurements, everything's ready. These just need to grow a little bit and I'll be relaxing right here in my hammock. So we've got this big philodendron here that is one of the oldest plants on the property. I think it's about 60 years old. And you can tell if you can look in there at the trunks. Looks like a jungle. All right, over here we've got some tillandsias up in the tree. Those actually just finished blooming. There's actually some that are still kind of hanging on over there. I'll show you in a minute. I've got some red cordylines, more polka dot plants, a peace lily. This is a peace lily that has really done well. It's really spreading. It's starting to get some blooms now, and I'm hoping it'll just be covered in blooms in the summertime. In the back, We have an alocasia. I think that one is Borneo giant. I think that's right. We've got some more cannas. Look at those. Those are, what, 7 feet tall? And those were nothing in March. This is a cane begonia that I've had for probably 20, 25 years. More philodendrons. This is Iracine herbstii. I think it's called a blood leaf. I love this too. It's color all year long, at least here in our climate. Umbrella plant, which is actually in the pond. And then back there we've got some more white ginger. We've got another Abyssinian banana, and then some regular bananas that the leaves were actually looking good 2 days ago, and then yesterday the wind came through and ripped them up. Got an Australian tree fern here that's, this is the best it's looked. It's got more fronds on it than it ever has. And then down at the bottom you can see I've got my anthuriums. Those were actually just planted there 3 weeks ago. Those come in the house from December to February, and they look like that because I can't take care of houseplants. In fact, you will never see a video of me telling you how to take care of houseplants because I can't do it. They looked gorgeous when I brought them in November. They were covered in flowers, full of leaves, in the house with me for 3 months. One had no leaves and barely a flower. They're just starting to come back. So the pond right now is empty, and that's mainly because in the winter this is completely shaded. There's no sun that gets in here. All of the water hyacinths that filled this pond last summer go dormant, and so the entire surface of the water is open. Now that's not a problem during the winter, except for the fish. They have a hard time hiding from the birds that way. But when the spring comes and the sun gets back in here and there's nothing to shade the water, algae starts to grow. And so you'll notice this is kind of a blue-green color. I've got dye in here that's made for ponds, which I use to hide the fish from the birds and to keep the sun out of the water so we don't have those algal blooms, because literally they will completely take over your pond in a matter of a couple of weeks. Up here in the back, we've got some variegated ginger, shell ginger. Over here is a philodendron family relative. It's the Monstera deliciosa. Got some back over there as well. This actually produces huge banana pineapple leaf flavored fruit, which I've never tasted, but people say it's great. Monstera deliciosa, big, delicious. So I'm waiting for that. Got the other Brugmansia here, the yellow one. The plumeria is just coming out of it, and there's tillandsias in there. You can kind of see what those looked like when they were blooming, although they're kind of dead now and need to be chopped off. Gorgeous hibiscus there in the back. So continuing on with the tropicals, oh, here, the tillandsia. You can see they are dying now, but you know, just a couple weeks ago, this is full of pink and blue and purple flowers, really pretty. Another Abyssinian banana back there, more cannas, another Brugmansia, and this is all white and red ginger here in the front. Had a little bit of a sad issue last week. We lovingly call this little structure here the Enchanted Chickie Room. It is our, and if you're a Disney fan, you'll get that. This is our chicken coop. We had Ginger, Marianne, and Mrs. Howell, the 3 hens in there. Unfortunately, last week we lost Mrs. Howell, so she finally got to leave the island. Maybe not in the way she wanted to, but so we're debating right now whether to get another chicken to replace her, or maybe 3 more. We're allowed to have 5. Never had 5. 4 is the most we've had. So we'll see. This banana right here, I'm actually really looking forward to the fruit, because the other bananas that I showed you, I got those from my mom, and they taste like grass. Do not like them at all. This is a ice cream banana. And it's supposed to taste like vanilla ice cream. So I got that on eBay 3 years ago. Bananas are supposed to produce in their 3rd year. So fingers are crossed, and I will let you know exactly how that tastes once I get some of it. Now, if you look down in here, this is to be done. I've been saying that a long time, but it is making progress. This is all going to be cemented in like lava rock, the way the pond over there is. This is going to be a beautiful koi pond. I am going to do a video. I know everyone's been asking me for a long time how I made that lava rock. I'm going to show you in a video when I get to this, and I'm planning on doing it before July, August. So same with that back there. All the cement work is done. It just needs to be dyed. And then the ceiling of the gazebo still needs to be done. I'm going to be doing that with bamboo canes, just a solid roof of canes. I got to tell you a story. These are not going to go here. This is privet hedge, and I've been wanting it for the front yard for quite a while, but the amount I needed, it would take about $1,000 to get it, and I wasn't ready to shell that out. So last Saturday, Noah and I, we drove around looking for bamboo canes growing wild because I needed to get it for these beds. And we actually found one down the street from a nursery, not a nursery where you can go and like buy stuff, but a nursery where they grow for other nurseries. And somebody that worked at the nursery drove by when we were out there cutting this bamboo down. We thought we were in trouble, but he said there was a bunch more inside the nursery and we could just follow him in there. So we did. When we got in there, there was a pile of privet hedges out of their pots, freshly out of their pots, like the day before, just piled up, waiting to compost. And so I asked the guy, is this trash? And he said, yeah. I said, do you think they'd mind if I took them? He said, no. So I got $1,000 worth of the exact plant that I've been wanting for over a year. It didn't cost me a penny. Had to share that. But anyway, that's going to be the pond. They're taking up that spot right now. Okay. Back in the back, I've got another brugmansia. I've got a plumeria here. And if you remember, this was a papaya grove last year. I've got one left. I had 7 papayas die over the winter because of the rain and the cold that we had. Basically, the cold and the rain dumped off of both of these roofs right down here. They just rotted off and fell over. So now definitely I'm glad that I planted those other seeds so that I can replace them. So that's most of the tropical garden. Let's go over to the vegetables now. In this first bed, we've got, well, you can see all of my bamboo teepees for beans, cucumbers, and some loofah, because everybody needs some loofah. In the first bed, this is going to be mostly the peppers. Now, while we were gone on our trip, I prepared for watering. I did a whole video on that, and that went perfectly. Nothing went without water, but I wasn't prepared for pests and diseases. We were attacked by slugs, big time. And we haven't had slugs or snails in about 5 years, I think because of all the rats. So maybe rats are gone, I don't know. Let's hope. But now I've got slugs, and they ate a lot of beans. They ate a lot of peppers. So all those pepper seeds that I planted, especially the habanada, the one I was looking most forward to, it's gone, down to little stubs when we got home. So I've already planted some more pepper seeds. Some of them are here and they're coming up. But that's why they're in these little bits of 6-pack cells, because you saw me cut those up before the trip. I just went ahead and planted seeds right back in there. We've got the Oriental yard long. Now all my beans right now were attacked by spider mites, so I've already done 1 spray of the neem oil, and they're a little bit better than they were, but I think I'm going to need to spray again. And coming down this way, and then these are the National Pickling Cucumber. So I've got them to climb up these poles. Then right back here are some weeds. And another thing that was attacked by slugs is all my watermelon. This is the Beni Kodama, I think that's right. So I've still got a couple on each side that lived through it. and so hopefully they will continue to live, and 4 plants on this trellis is more than enough, so I'm okay there. And then over here to the left, we've got corn, which the wind yesterday kind of battered, so I'm gonna have to get out here and kind of prop it up with some more dirt at the base. These are our sunflowers from the Kids Garden episode 2. And in the second raised bed, we've got beets, which have grown really fast. And then this is the Market More cucumber for this trellis here. And I've got green and purple basil. I've got, what is this variety of kale? This is scarlet kale, which grows into really pretty plants. And some more red noodle beans here, which again are attacked a little bit by the whitefly. I've got some poppies here that I'm hoping will bloom. I did get them planted a little bit late and they don't like the warm weather, so it hasn't been too warm, so hopefully they will live. These are a couple shishito peppers that I overwintered, so they're kind of pushing back out. Down here, I've got all of my bunching onions. And here are one section of tomatoes that I have, and these are the Kellogg's Breakfast, the Steakhouse Beefsteak, Golden Jubilee, Lucid Gem, and Dr. Wyche's. And now you might think these are planted close together, and they are. They're about a foot and a half apart. I'm actually going to be filming a video on that tomorrow of how I grow my tomatoes and the best way to grow the fruit and not a bunch of leaves and huge plants. So these actually need to be staked and pruned. They will not look like this when I'm done with that video. So definitely make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell icon so you will get notified when I upload that within the next couple of days. Back there, I've got 2 raspberries among the weeds. Now, we had an issue this winter with the dragon fruit, and if you look, it's a lot smaller than it was, and that's because it rotted off at the base because of all the rain we had. And so what I had to do was cut that off, feed it back down through the top, wearing lots of thick clothes and gloves because of the spines, and then replant it right above where it was rotted into the dirt there. So I'm hoping that'll make it. So now in this bed here, we do have 5 loofah plants. Not sure what's eating that. I've never grown loofah before. I'm growing it as a novelty. It's probably not something I'm going to use a ton of, but it looked fun. Green and purple basil along the front. And then I've got 4 Roma tomatoes, which these are the only determinate tomatoes that I'm growing. And so they can be in here with pretty much regular tomato cages that you can buy at the garden center. Again, come back to that video, my next video on tomatoes, to kind of explain all that. Some scarlet runner beans. I love these. They are actually, there's some blooms right here ready to go. They are perennial, which I just found out. So that means you can cut them down when they start to look bad and they will grow back. They produce great beans, beautiful flowers. And right here I've got orange bell peppers, red bell peppers, and shishitos. Those are overwintered from last year. And then a row of red globe onions down that way. All right, now coming over on this side, we'll start with the strawberry tower. Really don't need to get into that too much because just did a video on an update strictly on that tower. Now this, if you watched our video back in December, January, I had the 3 kids starting celery from the grocery store, you know, the bits and pieces that are left. Actually, only one of them made it, and it was the one that was grown strictly in water. Right here we've got some more scarlet runner beans. And then this is all my squash area. I've got caserta. I've got, I don't know how to pronounce this, it's French. Ronde Denise or Ron Denise, something like that. And then next to that, I've got red noodle beans. And the ones in the back actually got eaten by slugs while we were gone. So I've got some new seeds coming up to replace those. And right here, this is really exciting and kind of cool. Anybody know what this is? These are garbanzo beans. And I've got several planted. Looks like we lost another one to slugs. I have got to figure out where they are. And I've also got red globe onions planted throughout here in all the bare spots. Got more nasturtiums here hanging on from the fall and winter. More garbanzo beans. Got some straight neck summer squash here. And more tomatoes. We've got the beefsteak tomato, red beefsteak. It's actually called Steakhouse is the variety. We've got more of my Golden Jubilee, Kellogg's Breakfast, and Dr. White Cheese, although I think it's called Wykes. I think I heard that. And then on this side, we've got our apples. It is loaded with apples, and I actually, about 2 weeks ago, thinned this all out. We took 150 apples off of these trees, and there's still got to be 200 left. And here we've got the Meyer lemon that I espaliered a couple years ago, maybe just a year ago, I don't remember. Got a lot of buds right here, or flowers, and I know there's some fruit on here. I saw it the other day. Well, there's a baby one. That's about the size they all are. There's some back in the back, but. Now, if you watched the kids gardening series on Callie Kim's channel, you knew that in that first video, the kids planted the seeds really thickly. And so off camera and out of view of the kids, I actually took some of the lettuce out because as it was, it came up so thick. So I took quite a bit of it out to transplant. I've got that here in this wash tub. It's doing really well. We've harvested from it, I think, 3 times now, and it just keeps growing. This, I believe, is prize head lettuce from Callie Kim's Kids Garden collection. Now that brings us to the kids garden. Most of this is kind of on its way out. It was a lot of spring and early summer, I guess spring. The peas, I got to harvest these, but they're getting mildew and they're dying off at the bottom, so their days are very much numbered. Now here's something that's just starting. We've got the purple beans. So cute. And then these, if you watched my video, what was it, a couple months ago? Don't plant a bougainvillea unless you're prepared to deal with the mess. But these are the papaya seeds that I planted. And they're kind of slow growing until the weather starts warming up a lot. So the next couple months, they should really start to take off. Then right here, I've got a bunch of herbs ready. I'm going to plant an herb garden in a container, or a couple containers actually. So that is pretty much the full garden tour. I hope I went slow enough. I have a tendency to talk fast, so I probably did. But any questions you have, definitely ask down below. I hope you enjoyed the tour. If you did, consider subscribing, give me a thumbs up, and hit the bell icon for future updates. And I will see you guys on the next video.